Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mostafa. You are now listening to the Below the Noise podcast. Peace to Hash Adams Riddle. We're gonna start this off by trying to say a bunch of words really fast for fun. You ready? Yeah. Smooth as butter, brother, about to build it up better than let it all fall apart. Pick up the pieces and put them together like puzzles, I bet that they call it art. How we been dealing with all of that struggle to get up again, that's a lot of heart. Hoping my people will be there the minute I'm needing a friend, and they always are. Watch you chillin' with some of the homies, ain't even that real and shit. All of my brothers is down to get militant. If it come down to it, ready to kill this shit. Been a victim, been a villain, just check who dealing with. Don't even try, ain't got the time, we didn't come to divide. Love me and stay on my vibe. Trying to grow and find a road to pave. Lines of quotes and rhymes all the same. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Trying to put the mind up on the page. Love to the ones that been listening, look what we living in. Didn't been rhyming for days. I've been rhyming to find out what violence and trying to bust out of them chains. This ain't a game, climbing up out of that cage. Word to the ones at my side. Got it, you got it, I gotta be honest. A lot of these artists a lie, coming for mine. Love it or hate it, but mama, we made it, I'm fine. Coming for mine. You could love it or hate it, but mama, we made it, I'm fine.
Hello, everyone. Welcome in to Below the Noise, a safe space for artists to talk their creative process while showcasing their work in a hybrid interview and performance setting. Hosted by Alex Riddle, Colin Cassard. You can find us on YouTube at Below the Noise and on Instagram at below_the_noise. Today's artist traveled about 7,000 miles to get here. Currently residing in Cairo, Egypt, we have the MC Mostafa in with us today.
Peace.
How's it going, sir?
Good, how you doing?
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, welcome. Yeah. Born in Qatar as a child, Mo settled in Bellingham at the age of 14 with his family, which is where he and I became acquainted in the hip-hop scene in Bellingham, Washington. Since then, Mose has become a tenacious and formidable MC who can smoothly rock any stage and have crowds feeling the love no matter the weather. Having recently relocated to Egypt about a year ago, he is celebrating the vinyl release of his last album, LBOL, or Little Bit of Love. He's been going through a tour down the West Coast and through the Mountain West, and he decided to stop in for a little in-studio extra performance today. So thank you for doing that for us, sir.
Thanks for having me. That was fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we will say that was all one take. No, you know.
We're gonna chop it apart for your benefit, but yeah, one whole performance. Very impressive, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that a lot.
That's how I record my songs too. Just one take straight through.
Yeah, captures a certain vibe.
Yeah, I've always had a hard time punching in. It just sounds weird to me personally. Yeah. I know other people wouldn't notice, but I can.
I feel like of all the rappers I work with, they always are either one way or the other. It's like I never really get people who like sometimes punch in. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like I got a lot of guys who are like, nope, I'm going to keep going until I get this whole thing through in one perfect take. And then I got guys who are like, no, I'm going to punch each line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. I know this one dude that punched in every single line. I recorded a track for him once, and he's super dope. But recording it was just like, God damn, because he'd do a line, and he'd be like, wait, let me do that again. Wait, let me do that again. It's just like one line takes forever.
You end up with like a million tracks trying to like comp them together at the end. It's like, fuck, was it like the 10th time he did this one word?
The final product's incredible, but the process is strenuous.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of big rap is recorded.
Yeah.
Fortunately and unfortunately.
I mean, it exhibits a lot of, an ability to like exert a lot of control over the sound of things,
Yeah.
And like I do get, it's like I feel like it often doesn't really sound good if you have a whole take and then you just repunch like part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not going to really like get into that mid flow, like space, that like vibe, you know what I mean?
Right.
So as an MC who does the hybrid, I like to go as long as possible until something happens, and then I will punch in, doesn't matter where it is, if the take is good. So the best way that I've found to do that is you have to go back like 4 extra bars and match that energy, and if you get that, you can punch in and stuff like that. But it's difficult. The biggest problem is when the people become like extra strict in one way. Like I don't know. My first group, we were just out of high school. and there was one kid in it that he insisted on doing it in one take, and we were doing like 24, 28, 32 bars and shit like that on some songs, and he was like, no, I got to do it in one take. And I was like, dude, punch it in. And like, we were back in the day, we were doing it so amateur, we were all just like sitting in a room by ourselves with like the mic right here and the computer, and we were just hitting play, and like, you didn't have an engineer or anyone helping you, and so it would have sped things up.
That's how I'm like that kid, though. I'm exactly like that. I'm like, no, I got to do it in one take. If I can't get it done in one take, it's not good.
But you have the gift of knowing your lyrics, which is something that a lot of people don't. Surprisingly. You would think that people would memorize their verse. You know what I mean? Hey, you would think that people would like know their lyrics before they come into the studio, but I feel like it's shocking how many people deliver like final performances while reading.
I've seen people do it live where they're reading their lyrics off a phone screen.
And it's not to say that I haven't, like, I've seen that achieve good results, you know, it's like at the end of the day, but like to me, I guess as a background as an instrumentalist, the idea of like walking into a recording session for a song that you wrote and having to like read sheet music it feels weird.
What do you think about that? Has people reading their lyrics off a phone screen while they're live?
Live? I think that's like, if the end product is good and it sounds good, sure. I guess like for a song, like, hey, I just wrote this. Hey, you mind if I bust it out right now? Right. Like if I've seen someone do that and it worked. That being said, if a person is more often than not, what it comes down to when a person is reading their lyrics, it means that they don't know what they're saying truly enough to like be able to emote the lyrics. Yeah. And so that's one thing that you'll notice like with a lot of amateur rappers is when they're just rapping to rap, and it's just kind of this like energy spewing like nature, and they kind of have the same energy no matter what they're saying, and it's all kind of aggressive. Whereas someone who knows what they're saying, they know their lyrics, they have the ability to emote the different things. They change the emotion behind things, change the inflection behind certain things to actually reflect what they're saying. So I just think it reflects a bigger problem. Like if you're reading everything off your shit, that's like, you probably don't know you don't know what you're doing. Right. So there could be that raw energy that's good, but more often than not, it's going to lack.
I thought you were going to be more of a hater than that.
I'm too nuanced, man. Too nuanced these days. This is psychology, Colin. No. The hate comes in, it'll bubble up periodically, and then like, just like, calm down.
Push it back down.
Yeah.
I feel like rappers, just like any other musician, should be expected to practice. And I think that that's just like a very basic thing that should be expected from any musician, no matter what you do, is you have to practice. And so I get it in the context of like, I just wrote this song, whatever. Outside of that, nah.
I would agree with that to that extent, but like I've never like practiced or rehearsed for a live show in my life, just because I like to be like there in the moment and just adapt to whatever's happening.
I just mean practice rapping in general.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like outside of recording and performing, you'd be surprised how many people don't spend time every day just rapping when they're not recording or performing.
You got to sharpen your tools for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how long have you been rapping?
Since I was like 10 years old.
Oh, shit. What was your, do you remember what were your first memories of freestyling or spitting bars? Was it like memorizing a song or that someone else did? For me, it was Eazy-E's Boys in the Hood. I remember that very well in like I was in third grade.
I memorized Bone Thugs and Harmony's East 1999 album. I remember I printed out all the lyrics. Back in the day, you could go on those little sites. And I just sat with the album, just listening to it over and over again, reading along until I had the whole album down. Yeah, I had a great time doing that.
Yeah.
Those are intricate patterns.
Yeah.
Harmonies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a simple sit down. So I'm sure that took a couple listens, but it also probably helped you to understand complex cadences and things like that later down the line.
Yeah, probably so like I was too young to understand it back then, but subconsciously I'm sure it sunk in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's get right into a song here. Track one that we're going to talk about is Letters from Home. Do you want to intro the crowd a little bit on what this song what they're about to hear?
This is Letters from Home, produced by a very good friend of mine, super talented producer, Thaddeus Ginsig. It is about the complications and the sort of like the way you're kind of torn between two worlds with touring and trying to achieve your dreams and the sacrifices you have to make, all of that.
Yes, sir. And Thaddeus Ginsig, a.k.a. Golden Beats, he will be on the podcast at a later date. So a little future callback tease. Let's get right into it.
Check, check, check. Hey, hey. Come on. It's on into the family fare, homie, hold the head up. Move against the mass, make it so they don't forget us. Heard that it's a setup, but this is my rival, and I'm out to fight the rival with a rifle and a relic. You and I've been grinding for forever, since everything that they fed us was foul. Came a long way, so many miles, I'm working to make it worth it. Nobody perfect, I smile, scratch the surface, they gotta know me by now. I mean, ain't a damn thing changed. Still at it, still picking at compositions to fit the friction, the static, and I face the world with a pistol grip on the madness. Managed to take it all across the atlas. But everybody wanna blow without a fuse to spark, and they've been trying to kill the show before my movie start. So I had to hit the road just to prove my art. I was trying to grow, so we grew apart. Damn. But I'm still hoping that you'll follow. I'm still living like I might not see tomorrow, and I'm still trying to give it all I got until I'm hollow or I hit the lotto, so the fam don't have to borrow solace in the bottom of a bottle with problems in every part of that wobble. I walk it off like it's nothing, I've seen it all though. So ain't no stopping and stomping through your metropolis, moving to make it honest for everybody that rock with us. Hey, 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 now come on. Now come on. Hey, now come on. Hey, 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 now come on. Now come on. Hey, now come on. Yup. Keep the fist up, sister, we gotta handle this. Travel the storm and still manage to keep the candles lit. Last standing, the captain abandoned ship. Got us all out here stranded up on a planet of mannequins. But we were taught to react, and I couldn't shake the feeling I was lost in the trap. Got a team and started building on the fossils of rap. Filled my spot in the pack, had to leave, I know I'm awful for that. Look, hey. Yo, so how you living, how you balancing subtraction and addition, and how we building castles while we grapple with addiction. Hey, do the math, let's take it back to the beginning. This is my religion, these are my credentials. Think about the path, the brother getting sentimental. Never meant to last, but I never fit the stencil. Now it's in my grasp, look at everything I've been through. Look how I adapt when the rent's due. Smash through the venue, they said I ain't even had potential. Now come on, how far we gotta fall before they're satisfied? All they ever fed us was a pack of lies. But my little soldier got his daddy's eyes, and I'ma show him we can hit the stratus if we strategize. I know they hate us for the sacrifice. All that I can tell them is I had to try. And I can smile cause I know myself. I can smile cause I know myself. Hey, come on. I can smile cause I know myself. I can smile cause I know myself. Yeah, come on. I can smile cause I know myself. I can smile cause I know myself. Come on, I can smile cause I know myself. I can smile cause I know myself. Hey, come on.
Alright. So Letters from Home. Golden Beats on the track. Fantastic. One of my favorite producers, one of my good friends. Yes. Shout out Bellingham Hip Hop Scene, Sunday Cypher, Once Upon a Time. Themes, some of the themes I got from this song, the bittersweet nature of touring. Mm-hmm. Something was like the main theme, just the fact that you are you're experiencing new things, you're going out into the world, there's all this excitement, but in reality you're leaving a lot behind, and there's a lot of people that will be upset at the choices that you're making, etc., and kind of feel left out.
Yes. Absolutely. I think there's a lot that goes into being a touring artist and being a musician in general behind the scenes that a lot of people outside of that world don't understand. And it's a lot of, like, you'll be on the road, people think you're just out there having a great time, having a party, but it's a lot of work, it's a lot of ups, it's a lot of downs, it's a lot of sacrificing and struggling, and it's a lot more than it seems. And it's definitely worth it to get out there and connect with people. But there's just a lot that goes with it that makes it exceptionally hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taxing.
very taxing.
To say the least.
Especially when you're, I mean, I think in all levels, but when you're an independent artist and you have to kind of wear the hats of multiple roles.
Yes.
At the same time, you know, if you're you're your own touring manager, you're your own, you know, all of the different things that can come along with.
And when there's not anyone paying for flights or hotel rooms, it's the literal struggle bus.
Yeah, I mean, you're the booking agent, you're the promoter, you're building the local lineups, you're the graphic designer making the posters, just so much to do.
It's a ton of work.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, I remember, you know, people would always, oh, you guys are going on tour? Like, that's so much fun. Like, oh, you guys are going to party it up, like, get laid, this and that. It's like, no. Not at all. It's like, that's not what it's like. Like, that shit's a struggle.
Yeah.
A, it's a struggle. B, you don't sleep a lot. And, like, C, good luck convincing a girl to come back to your van. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, nah, it ain't glorious.
I think the hardest part for me is definitely leaving family and everybody you love behind to be out there making new connections. And it's just hard. Like, you're out in the world, and the world can be very, very cold. Yeah. And you feel completely alone. So that's hard. And
it's not even just like you're out in the world. You're out in the world, like the alcohol-soaked world, the nightlife world, where, it's like there's levels of, you don't know if people are being authentic. You know what I mean? You know, is this the alcohol or is this you speaking? A lot of insecurities that get thrown in your face.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, whether it's the MC that wants to rap over the opening dude's set and gets excited. Hey, you're the as we were talking about earlier, you know, just
all the time. MC, stop rapping while other people are rapping in people's ears. It's not cool. It's
not cool.
It's not the move.
Yeah,
that's not how you get a spot opening for me on tour next time.
Don't do that.
If you come and rap in my ear like that, I will probably never work with you. It's really how it is. Like that. It's like it tells immediately that you have no concept of like etiquette or respect for the other people who are performing. Yep. It's just the wrong kind of vibe.
Like, even if it's like a 16-year-old Notorious B.I.G., like one of the greatest street performing rappers that we've ever seen footage of. Even if it was him that came up to you and rapped like during that, you'd still just be like, dude, you know, the dissonance of sound clashing. You're like, I can't hear you.
Right. It's like, even if you're great.
Horrible time. Like,
I can hear them because they're like right in my ear.
I can hear you just fine, dude. Now I can't hear my set later on because I could hear you.
There's a time and a place for everything, and at a show is not the place.
Yeah. It's not that I don't want to hear you rap. It's just,
wait till after the show, man.
Right. After the show when the cypher's outside, you know what I mean? And that's always how, you know, that's like...
That's why I did a whole tour called the Bring Your Bars tour, where I was having a cypher at the end to have people come up and rap and stuff, whoever wanted to. And a part of that idea was so that people would quit rapping in my ear while the show. I was like, you'll get a turn, just wait.
You'll get a turn. Just save your bars.
I promise.
That'd be funny if you like did it like America's Got Talent or something, like American Idol, and you like sat at a table afterward and like judged each person and had like 2 honorary guests each time, get some scorecards, and just like, all right, you got 16 bars, go.
Yo, that's actually legit though, you know. I feel like people would still do that.
100%.
For sure.
Oh yeah, no, I think you got a lot of raw talent, but you know, I think that you know, your voice is whack and you should stop rapping. Hold up the 2.
Yeah. Just like, you want to come get
Maybe you should think about ghostwriting.
Yeah, it's like, you want to come get your bars rated, you know what I'm saying? It's like...
Showtime at the Apollo, sweep them off.
Right, I mean, if like the OnlyFans girls can sell dick rating...
then,
you know what I mean? Then like, why can't you sell rapper rating? You know what I'm saying?
What is that OnlyFans girls doing? What now?
Oh, you don't know this. Dude, this is a huge thing. Like, models on OnlyFans, like, many of them will accept money for you to send them a picture of your dick, and they'll tell you how it stacks up against all the other dicks they've seen.
Jesus.
Right? This is some the like future apocalypses now. You
The
know?
male ego.
Yeah.
Well, the lack of ego.
fragile.
Or something. I can't wrap my head around
Please
it.
tell me this is good.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me you like
Exactly.
this.
So like you can do the same thing like for bars. You know what I mean? Like
You know that a lot of people would be paying that. So like I listened to a podcast, and they, it's a sports podcast. They were doing a live post game for the NBA finals and stuff like that. And people can pay to have their comments put up on the screen. And you'd see like the same person like paying $1.99 to have his comment put up there constantly. And there are people that would pay you money to do these things. That's all I'm trying to say. You just be like, yeah, like, like I'll rate your bars. Just go on Twitch and like live stream it and have like people come up and just be like, yeah, that was kind of whack, dog. I'm not gonna lie. You just got to get like a little Simon Cowell in it and have like a couple of people do a panel. I feel like that would be funny.
Yep.
It'd be cool if there was a show like that for hip hop. They did that one, D-Smoke one or whatever. That was cool to see on Netflix. When it first came out, it was like a rap competition or something.
Oh, okay.
And when it first came out, I was like, "Oh no, this is gonna be stupid as fuck." But then
Was
when
that the
I
one
watched
with like Chance the Rapper and T.I.?
Yep,
that was actually really
I do
good.
remember that.
That's
Yeah,
actually really good.
I was surprised because when they were talking about it, I was like, "Oh no, this is gonna be whack," and then it was good, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is real."
And then they didn't bring it back.
Yeah, why? They're gonna bring it back eventually.
No,
probably.
Netflix is really fucking bad about like starting things that are like working really well and then just not continuing them, canceling things that are working and then continuing things that don't work. Like they canceled Mindhunter.
So they need to fire some people.
But that wasn't Netflix that canceled Mindhunter.
I'm gonna blame Netflix.
Yeah, but that was the writer director
You just wanna
having
be a
more
hater. You
things,
wanna
other
blame
things that
whoever.
he wanted to do.
I'm blaming Netflix.
Yeah. Well, he had other projects.
That's all I said.
Who was that? What was his name?
David Fincher?
David Fincher. Yeah. Yeah, I guess he left Mindhunter because he had like other movies and stuff to work on.
What an asshole.
That's my understanding, at least.
Why would you leave
that
the
could
show?
be incorrect. I don't know.
The show,
everything about
that sounds
it,
like some bullshit to me because the show.
But it was a great show. I mean,
It was
I've never
supposed to
seen
be
it.
6
Good.
seasons. It was written to end after 6 seasons. So like it had a beginning and an end. So why would the showrunner leave after 3 seasons?
Oh,
That
they
sounds
didn't
like a
finish
cop-out.
the
No, that's what I'm
season.
saying. No, they're
they
now
only did
3
3.
in.
And they're not going to do it now?
No, and it's one of my favorite.
But
shows.
I think he said that he's not against coming back to it.
Writer strike.
Right. Well, that
Nobody's
too.
ever coming
No
back.
one's coming
Yeah,
back.
right. That's everything's done.
AI will continue this down the line. No, but actually, for real though, TV is moving into like the TV is going to be in America reality shows, sports, and news. Like those are going to be the 3
You
things.
think so?
This is what's going to happen for a short period of time until they can have AI that's good enough to write the creative.
Oh, you mean as a result of the writer's strike?
Well, it wouldn't be necessarily a
during
result of the
or-
writer's strike. It would have happened anyway.
Right. I feel like there's room in there for like sitcoms. Because like
there always,
motherfuckers love sitcoms.
but there will always be. But I'm saying that they're going to hold off on those for a good while,
Right.
until the AI can write the sitcom.
The
'Cause then
AI
they
can already
say,
write the sitcom.
not good enough.
Pretty damn good. I mean,
But not good enough.
I think I may have shown you this at one point, but I have a friend who's like a, like master's degree in like comparative literature or whatever. And so he goes into like Chat GPT and those things, and he gives prompts that are like, write me an episode of, Roseanne in the style of, Seinfeld or whatever, or like, give me an episode of Seinfeld as though it was, written by Werner Herzog or something. Right. And he sent me the scripts that are generated back, and like, it's pretty fucking dead on. I mean, like you can tell where it came from. There's a distinct fingerprint
that's 100%
that works for the big
derivative.
Yeah, it is derivative. But my point is that they're still able to generate a new script.
Oh yeah, I agree.
And in a convincing style of someone who exists. And so I wouldn't be surprised if motherfuckers just got AIs to literally just start writing the shows.
Did
Like,
y'all hear that AI Jay-Z verse?
no.
Yeah, I heard the AI Drake song.
I didn't hear the Drake one.
I mean, it sounds like as good as a Drake song.
It sounds
I mean,
good
like
as a
it's not like a
Jay-Z song.
top tier Drake song.
I
but
was
it's
like, damn, rappers are gonna just, maybe they've been doing that for forever. Like the super rich rappers, just like AI write song,
I wouldn't be surprised if some people did that as like a statement, and then like years down the road, we're like, yeah, that whole album was AI.
Yeah, I heard something about Timbaland was doing some AI shit. Like he bought some or was releasing some AI shit.
Yeah, the creative world is going to be drastically changed. And I remember I just saw a meme recently where it was just someone being like, I didn't think that the future that we had was going to have robots doing all the creative shit while we were doing the grunt labor.
Right.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the other way
It's supposed to be the other way around.
Or is it, you know?
As a artist, I could never like just stop doing the creative shit, you know?
Well, yeah, but
I feel like there's gonna be a lot of people that like need that outlet and are still gonna be doing it.
I feel like for any like artists, like that's what it is, you know?
Yeah.
It's like I feel like every artist who is like really deep in it will tell you the same thing, which is that they're like channeling art.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's not a logic process.
Yeah,
you
I just
know?
think it's gonna be another thing that's similar like the streaming services or things like that. There's just another thing that makes it harder for real artists to
Yep.
break through.
Yep.
I'm still okay with the concept of having human art and computer art and having them both. And like why not?
I guess if they're clearly delineated.
Even if they're not, like what if
So I'm competing with AI now?
theoretically you already are theoretically. Like I am right now because I tried to just enter the world of writing.
Uh-huh.
And so it's like I entered the world of writing right as ChatGPT did. And so it's like I started my first movie script, I wrote my first short film, ChatGPT drops. So it's just like, oh, this is my competition now. Like, what am I,
Yeah.
I'm fucked.
So you know how to write scripts?
yeah.
I need to talk to you after this podcast.
Or you could talk to ChatGPT.
It's funny though, because like it's such a weird like cycle, right? Because the reason that the Chat GPT stuff can generate results like that is because of how much human-made things have been fed into it, right? Yeah. So I could see ostensibly coming a point where it's like, if there's no human writers, there's not really any new input of data for it, right?
Right.
Because it needs to have data fed into it. Now, there's probably enough stuff that just exists in the world already to feed them for a really long time. But you know, I mean, it's like, it is imperfect. I think there's a lot of good places for the use of AI too. Like, you know, I use AI tools in my engineering work and occasionally in producing work. You know, I'm not going to have it like write a whole song for me or anything, but like there's certain engineering tools and sound repair tools and stuff like that like furthers the art, but that's kind of what it is with any technology, right?
I've never messed with AI. I don't even know how it works.
Well, it's one of those things where I think we're going to need to. It's going to become a part of our lives, whether we want to or not.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to learn about it. So like I'm coming up with this constant resistance right now because I'm upset because I'm like, oh, I want to be a writer. ChatGPT swoops in. Like, you know, it's like, you seen that meme where it's like the girl like all excited with her piece of pizza and she's like at the wharf and she's like, it's like slow motion and she lifts it up and she's about to take a bite and a seagull just comes in and fucking like hits her in the face, takes the pizza. You know, like that's me with like writing career. You know, ChatGPT motherfucker. You know, it's coming in, but
it hurts.
But point is, I can use it to like augmented. I can use it to assist me and
like to polish your writing up.
Yeah, just like imagine if people like when the internet came out and people were like, oh, like blah blah blah, or even like Socrates back in the day, he fucking griped about the written word, and he was just like, no one should be writing words down because then you won't remember anything. And I mean that's technically true. The more access you have to information, your brain knows that you don't need to remember that information, so it doesn't store it. So it's just like there is the actual valid ideology and science behind that. But that being said, you know, we can't really fight technology. That's like swimming against the ocean.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
It's difficult.
And it goes very fast in the last couple of years. Remember like, 2006 iPhone came out or some shit like that. I can't remember what year
was
it was.
Did you see the new shit that Apple
The Vision Pro?
What is it?
Dude, it's the iPhone VR or Apple VR.
It's an integrated augmented reality. So it can do a combination of like superimposing things over the real world, or it can do full VR. But it's basically like they've taken like using a computer and then taking away all of the physical aspects of it. You navigate by looking at the thing you want and then doing like hand gestures to select and move stuff. It's like, you remember that movie Minority Report?
Yeah.
With the screens and stuff? It's like that. It's that.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. It's absolutely fucking nutty. I was just reading about that last night and I was like, oh, we're here. This is happening. Like, this is what's going to start a cascade is what it feels like, because it's like, once Apple like gets in the game with making a, like, you know, albeit super expensive now, but like that shit's coming out next year. Well, and so in 10 years, like, money, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like think about the what 10 years did to an iPhone or to a laptop, right? And it's like,
everyone's going to be wearing these when you walk around certain cities here soon. But actually, this is a really good transition, I feel like, for us to get into the next song, which is called Have You Forgotten?
Yeah.
Because it has some of the same themes that we're talking about at this moment. So I think right now we're going to get into the performance, Have You Forgotten? Do you want to introduce a little bit about this one?
This is Have You Forgotten? It was produced by HDK, Hell Dog Chris, out of the UK. He sent me the beat and asked me to get on it for him. And then me being me, I took 2 years to get on it. And then I was like, hey, you mind if I just keep this and release it on mine? So that's that.
He's on MC time, ladies and gents. All right.
It's a banging song.
All right. So yeah, Have You Forgotten? Let's get into it.
Yes, yo. That boom bap and smooth rap shit. Yo, what you know about that shit? Once again, my name is Mostafa. You are listening to the Below the Noise podcast. Peace to Hash Adams, Riddle. Appreciate y'all having me. Yes, y'all. A 1, 2 and a 1, 2 and yes, y'all. Hey, a 1, 2 and a 1, 2 and ready for that real shit, sick of the simple, I sever all ties. Settle for small fries, build it till we all rise. Bumpy road, hit lows until it's all highs. Brother been on a mission, and yes, I want mine, but it's too many on top, forgotten the bottom, the struggle that made them. We came from a common problem, the culture created genres, separated the conscious and the monstrous. Now it's all competition and conflict shit. Used to be unified to fight for the freedom and rights of the people. Gave me something I could believe in, I'm writing to reach you. We came to fuck with the format, take it back with a raw rap, building a fall back. Hey, marketing garbage from mass consumption. We got an army of artists all starving up at your function. Bigger picture, the penny pinchers packing pistols, spitting missiles to get you, so keep the pastor with you. Hey, a 1, 2 and a 1, 2 and yes, y'all. Hey, a 1, 2 and a 1, 2 and yes, y'all. And there's far too many followers, foster the fatherless in the face of these fake philosophers, filling with consciousness when the faith is faded and faltering. It's not a game, homie, I don't play the politics, just spit something, no fillers to kick, drumming the killers to kick, pumping that venomous shit, fucking we building with bricks, huffing and puffing, don't shake the fucking house, dumping rounds, they ducking, but keep it bumping now. This is fresh from the underground, coming loud enough to counteract the cats that dumb it down. With the masses, I mastered the madness, managed to grow with the greatest, grasping what actually matters. On this path with a passion, packing a punch that make them jump. And mama ain't raised no punk, so what you want? Look, it's bigger picture, the penny pitchers packing pistols, spitting missiles to get you, so keep the pastor with you. Hey, a 1, 2 and say what? A 1, 2 and yes, y'all. Hey, a 1, 2 and a 1, 2 and yes, y'all.
So, Have You Forgotten? This track, as I was talking about before we took the break, listened to the song, we were talking about, the Vision Pro, the new Apple product. One of the lines you have in the song is that they're marketing garbage, right? And it's the idea, seemingly from what I got in listening back, the idea of being raised in a culture of passive aggression and half-truths. And so, you know, we were just talking about marketing products, and it's like, you know, we're being sold this thing that's brand new. And so in a way, whether intentionally or not, it is a half-truth because we don't know what the negatives that are going to come with years of wearing augmented reality goggles and living in this weird space. Like, is it going to fuck up vision? You know, it's like, what's it going to do to people?
Yeah, it's going to fuck up vision for sure.
They're shining like lasers into your eyeballs.
I think there's some negatives that we can kind of assume even if they don't tell us.
Right.
But it's easy to want to believe that those negatives don't exist. And if they're not talking about it, you're more likely to just step over that fact.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel it.
Is that the garbage that you're talking about? Like, is there something specific that like makes you feel that way in this sort of context of this track?
That song was about kind of society in general, but also it was mostly focusing on hip hop culture and local politics of separate scenes and separation of people and the things that make it hard for artists in general. That was more that.
Yeah, that's.
But I like the way you took it.
Well, that's interesting, but I do hear what you're coming from, and that is a huge problem that, I mean, I came across in my, you know, years of booking and performing in the Northwest, where just, you have very cliquey elements, and it's like, dude, if we all connected and had a network of all these small scenes, we could be like doing a lot more for each other, but instead there's a lot of bucking up against stuff.
Yeah, and I just never really understood it because, like, I'm an MC, but the reason I even got into this is because I was a fan. I'm always a fan first. Like, if I like what you're doing, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to want to hang out with you, work with you, all of that. And I've always been big on supporting other artists that I think are dope, no matter who they are. Like, the egos get involved and shit gets ridiculous, and I hate that shit.
Yeah.
And all the politics of it, like people trying to be your friend because they want you to put them on. They think you can do something for them or something, and all that fake shit. I hate all of that that comes with it. Just be a real person, you know?
A lot of the times I feel like people don't even know what they want, and so they come up to you and they're trying to ask you for something, but they don't know how to articulate it. And then because you don't give them something that they didn't articulate, then they hold that against you.
Yeah.
When in reality, they just don't have the communication skills to tell you what they're actually looking for in that moment.
I find out that people don't like me sometimes, and there are people that, like, I've met maybe twice, and they don't even know me, and they just, like, got this thing, like, they wanted something from me that I didn't pick up on, that they didn't ask for. And had they asked for it, I probably wouldn't have been able to hook them up anyway. Like, I'm just an independent. I'm not like some big rapper, you know. But yeah, it's crazy how bad people are at communicating.
Yeah. It's tough, you know, like the clicks in the music world have always been something that I've struggled with like so badly because it's just like, you know, like everybody just, it feels like has got their like units of people, and like almost saying it's like if we all just sort of like, you know, we're all sort of working towards the same thing, like we can all just work together instead of just like, oh, you know, the outsider or like the separate person. Like, nah, we're, you know, us and, you know, everything.
So when I was in high school, right, I just moved to Bellingham from overseas, and I didn't really fit in anywhere. So throughout high school, I didn't really have a clique or crew necessarily. I kind of moved around and kicked it with everybody. And I feel like I applied that to everything. And now, even as an adult, I kind of tend to like navigate and kick it with all kinds of different friend groups. And like I sometimes will be like, I'll be out one night around town and I'll be kicking it with somebody, and another one of my friend groups will be out, and I'll try to like have everybody kick it together, and for some reason it just never works out, and I'm just bouncing back and forth, and
the mixing of the people.
It's weird. I don't know why it's so hard for people to mix.
Well, I always think it's shitty when people are like, oh, I don't like one aspect of you, or I don't get along with one aspect of you, so therefore I don't want to ever fuck with you.
Yeah, I think people make snap judgments a lot, like off first impressions and stuff, and never actually get to know you.
Yeah.
And like you can catch somebody on a bad day, or maybe that person's going through this, or you know what I mean? You should get to know the real person before you
like shit, I'm awkward as fuck out in the world in social situations. Like if I'm in a place where I don't like know more people than I don't know, you know, or if it's like, you know, like in my studio, it's like, this is my safe space, right? But like out in the world, like I'm awkward as fuck. I know I don't always make a good first impression, you know what I mean? It's like, too. Shit. And so, yeah, the amount of time like spent, it's like, man, you know, yeah, those snap judgments, it's like, it really takes longer than that to understand who a person is. And like, you never know what somebody's going through in the moment that you meet them, or like even how they are in those sort of situations.
Yeah,
so
like I've heard I'm unapproachable. I've been told I'm unapproachable. And I'm like, if you just talk to me, I love everybody. I'm like the opposite of unapproachable. But people like will just see me there like being quiet, maybe not smiling, be like, oh, he's unapproachable. But like all you gotta do is say hi, and I'll be like, hey,
yeah.
Oh, I
just
feel
breathe
that.
life into me.
I feel that.
Yeah, I'm kind of a wallflower, and so like more often than not, you know, like I went to a show for the first time in like 3 years a little while ago at Kelly's Olympian, and I was just like standing there, just awkwardly in the corner, and then you know, homie was like, "Oh hey, how's it going?" Come over, and I'm talking to like all these people, and then they dissipate, and I'm just like, "Okay, back to the corner," you know, and I'm just like, just gonna stand here.
Yep.
And I mean, I get it. There is an unapproachable air to that, and a lot of people don't want to break the ice. But I'm also, I don't know. We can't change who we are.
right.
You know what I mean? What, you know, what's the point of like going to a place and like trying to be someone else constantly, and then you feel weird?
Yeah, I don't know how to be anybody else.
Exactly. That's why more often than not, I get along with the people that are slightly more extroverted than me, that are willing to like reach out at first and things like that. Because I'm a little in my shell, although I'm ultimately extroverted.
I rely on those kind of people. You know, it's like that's the bridge.
I find those like a lot of relationships I've had with people like that though have been they've stayed very shallow.
Yeah.
Which like creating deeper relationships, I tend to do more with fellow introverts.
Yeah.
Where we like to sit down and like talk about real shit and have serious conversations rather than necessarily just have like fun shit happening all the time.
Yeah, I do much better on a one-on-one situation where I can actually have long conversations.
Absolutely.
Like in driving Shrapnel to San Fran, it was the part that I looked forward to the most was hanging out with them in the van. You know what I mean? And it's, you know, it wasn't going to the venue. I get to the venue and then my social anxiety kicks in. And I'm just like, and everyone's drinking. Obviously, I know you're not drinking anymore.
Nope.
So, you know, it definitely isn't as easy to mingle with the people when they're on a certain plane, on a certain vibe, and then you're on a different vibration.
Well, I found like being sober and being at bars and stuff, I've actually had a good time still hanging out with people that are drinking and stuff, and it's still pretty fun. But alcohol is definitely a social lubricant that helps a lot with feeling awkward in social situations. But you also do a lot of stupid shit, and then so yeah, maybe better off without it, I think.
Touring is kind of tough when you're the only sober person, though. Like I remember, that would always be the thing. It's like we go on tour after the show. All my boys are like drinking at the bar, using all the drink tickets and like talking to people. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna go sit in the van. You know what I mean?
I'm
like,
tired. I'm ready to go.
It's like, I'm just like, y'all wake me up when you're done. Like, you know, I'll be in the van.
Well, I really like one of my favorite parts of touring is getting to know people and meeting new people and connecting with people. So I really like that part of it. So I'll usually stick around afterwards and just talk with people. Anybody that wants to talk.
So I like doing that with the people that you end up like staying with and shit. It's like I'll catch like people after the show, like in the parking lot, you know, or do the like classic on stage, like, all right, who's gonna let us sleep at your house tonight? You know what I mean? Because that's the move always.
That's the move.
Or hey, who's got weed for us? You know what I mean? Or like whatever.
Classic.
And so like I always really enjoy getting to know those people because it, you know, you get a little more time with them. It's a little more like, you know, you get to know someone really well when you're sharing a bathroom with them, you know, even for a day, like you wake up in the morning and that person's there. So it's like, I remember all of those people that I had that kind of interaction with. But like personally, I struggle a little bit with the like in the bar environment, you know, sort of interactions.
So many people,
right?
It's hard to remember everybody.
Yeah.
Certain conversations stick out to me for sure, but those are always, like I said, the deeper, like the shallow ones. I'm gonna forget you quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
So going into the song, once again, Have You Forgotten? You did this part, well, the beat kind of drops out and comes back in.
Yes.
You executed it seamlessly. Riddle was the one who mentioned this. You wanted to talk about it?
Yeah, I just, you know, I like I said before earlier, every time I see rappers perform and they hit like one of those extended long breaks with no drums, it feels like a true testament to skill, because it's like if you can ride that perfectly, keep that tempo going, everything is still in the pocket, and when the beat drops back in, you're right there. Perfect timing, there's no adjustment. It's like there's nowhere to hide in those sort of situations. It's either perfect or it's not. And so every time I see that, it's just like, damn.
That was something I like listening to hip hop when rappers were doing that. I remember hearing it be like, oh, that's so dope.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
Makes that drop so impactful. It's just like timing, you know? Timing is everything in music.
Yeah, when the beat comes back in and you can execute that live in a seamless fashion. You grab in the live folk, you know, a couple people.
It's impactful, you know? I don't know, maybe like 6 or 7 months ago, we went out and saw Cavalier and Quelle Chris when they were in town. And like, you know, both those guys are cool as fuck. But it was a similar sort of thing where it was like an in-between song sort of thing. And Quelle was sort of like half rapping, but then he was talking. And it was sort of like, oh, is this like it still in the song or is it not? And then he was like speaking in sentences. And then all of a sudden it just like rolled back in and the beat came in and he's like rapping, but there was no cue or anything. It was just a stretch of silence.
Yeah.
But it's just like, man, I will never forget that moment ever. You know, it's like, whew, that shit was just like incredible.
I need to see him live. I've heard good things.
Him and Cavalier, man. Cavalier is, shout out Cav. Both a fucking joy of a person and also just, you know, in my opinion, an absolutely brilliant artist in every way.
I hope I get to meet him someday.
You should. He's a really, really cool guy. I had the opportunity to do a little bit of recording for him when he was in the Bay Area a while back, but yeah, just, yeah.
So are you from the Bay?
I am, yeah. I'm from Oakland. Okay. I've only been in Portland about 1.5 years.
I got a show in Oakland at the Golden Bull. Is that a dope spot?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, a lot of history there.
Nice.
That's like a venue where like people like Green Day and stuff, you know, I think they even like last year maybe did like a pop-up show there and shit. So Golden Bull's one of the like cool venues.
I usually play at the Legionnaire out there, but I haven't been there in a long time.
Legionnaire's like, I feel like that's like the underground hip hop spot of the East Bay. It has been for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's home base for sure.
Yep. They played a lot of shows in that upstairs spot. It gets so sweaty up there.
It
does, but it's good vibes though.
So you're on tour right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, we got to know each other in Bellingham, but you're out in Cairo now. How are you liking Cairo?
Oh, I love it. I'm going to say right off the bat that not being a minority feels wonderful, you know?
Hell yeah.
And the culture out there is just like, it's genuine. It's like, you hardly ever see people just staring at their phones. They're always like interacting with each other. It doesn't revolve around drinking. Like to be social, you go out to cafes and hang out. Like you might have some hookah, but you'll be sipping tea or like having some non-alcoholic drinks, kicking it with people, and like groups intermingle kind of like at a bar over here. And then the culture is just very much like, how can I help you? Like, do you need anything? Like, everybody helps each other and cares about each other and shit like that. Like, I was in Olympia this tour, and there's a little corner store right next to the venue, and I went in there, and the dude's looking at me while I'm checking out. He's like, where are you from? I said, Egypt. And he starts talking to me in Arabic. He has to see my Egyptian ID. And then he's just like, do you need anything? Like, what are you doing here? Can I help you in any way? And it felt so good. I was like, I remember that. Like, I want to get back to that. I love that shit.
Hell yeah. Traveling the world has always been a goal on my list, and I now have an excuse to go out to Egypt.
Come
So I'm
through.
gonna say what's up in Egypt.
I got an extra room. I'll book us a show.
Hell yeah, let's do it. I'll resurrect my live hiatus, or I'll exterminate my live hiatus. I don't know if I'm using words correctly, but either way, we'll do some shit out in Egypt one of these days.
Yeah,
but
I'm gonna try to build it up so that I can fly somebody out once a month.
You were saying earlier that the music scene out there is pretty popping, right? And the hip hop scene especially.
Yep.
That's
And
tight.
there's a lot of very talented people out there.
Dope.
I'm loving it.
hell yeah. Well, you're out on tour. You're promoting the re-release of your album LBOL. So let's hear a song off of it. We have the title track LBOL.
Yes, every song we heard has been off of it so far. But yeah, let's hear another one.
Shh. All right, well, let's hear the title track.
Yeah.
Ooh. This is a love song. A little sing-along that I like to hear sung back. It goes. A little bit of love goes a long way. A little bit of love goes a long way. A little bit of love goes a long way. Baby, I just need a hug, it's been a long day. A little bit of love goes a long way. A little bit of love goes a long way. A little bit of love goes a long way. I know sometimes it's hard to face the day. You'd rather fade away and disappear. Been a couple years of struggles trying to fight against the tears. Scars all on the heart, it's getting hard to let them near. Love is starving, built your garden out of fear, huh? Well, I'm here, just to let you know you're not alone. Product of a broken promise, brought up in that mosh pit they call a home. And in that closet got a pile of bones. Still, it's so amazing how you shine beneath the grime when even diamonds don't. Eyes are closed while I'm writing this, imagining the beauty that I found in every flaw that you're fighting with. While I'm trying to shake the vice's grip, caught up in a cycle sick. You came to show me what it's like to live. That's why I hate to see you hang your head, caught up in the same regrets that made you. I wonder where you're aiming next. And so I had to make it musical, just to show you every scar is beautiful. Because a little bit of love goes a long way. A little bit of love goes a long way. A little bit of love goes a long way. And baby, I just need a hug, it's been a long day. A little bit of love goes a long way. A little bit of love goes a long way. A little bit of love goes a long way. And I just wanna see you smile again. It's been a while, my friend. Focused on the future, but forgot about the now. And that's a violent trend. And you gon' feel it when it finally ends. But until then, please believe that if you need, I got the time to spend. So I know why it's tough to let them in. When you've been invested in these people, still it seems you're just a step to them. And it's hurtful, so you're hesitant to open up. Like so many cuts, I got you scared of what's suppressed within. Catch you grinning every now and then, trying to blend and hide behind the mask so they don't see you. I'm not convinced, and you've been starving with your pockets thin. I'm watching while you're watching them, knowing you still feel you got a lot to give. That's why I hate to see you hang your head, caught up in the same regrets that made you. I wonder where you're aiming next. And so I had to make it musical, just to show you every scar is beautiful. Because a little bit of love goes a long way. A little bit of love goes a long way. A little bit of love goes a long way. Baby, I just need a hug, it's been a long day. Look, a little bit of love goes a long way. A little bit of love goes a long way. A little bit of love goes a long way.
LBOL stands for a little bit of love.
Yes, sir.
A little bit of love goes a long way.
It does.
That's what you say in the song. As small artists, we depend on the kindness of individuals in a way that is kind of terrifying. Like when you think about it, like really, you're just like you're going out on tour right now and you're just like, you're going to Eugene and you're going to be on stage and you're going to be like, does anyone have a couch to crash on? You know, and you're going to depend on the kindness of another person. More often than not, a person's going to come through and then you just got to hope that person's not a serial killer.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and so like that's what I'm saying. It's kind of terrifying in a way where you're just like, you're kind of trusting the universe or trusting people. You know, you're allowing your trust to go into other places. And then worst case, you can sleep in your car.
Yeah.
And it's not really the end of the world, but it is kind of like, it's an adventure that and it's out of your comfort zone in a lot of ways that a lot of people aren't comfortable.
Yeah, I think it takes a certain type of person to go on the road for sure. There's a lot of people that aren't built for it that try it out and end up never wanting to do it again. Mm-hmm. But I love it. It's a lot of fun for me.
It is.
Yeah, I like to connect with people. I like to experience new things. I like all of it. So yeah.
Such a good way to get to just like explore too. You know, it's like you pull into a town, you got a little bit of time before your show, and you start walking, you know, meet random people. Like, you know, it's like it's a nice way to go places without feeling like a tourist.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like you get to see the like unfiltered side of things.
Yeah, and you get to like while you're traveling meet people and actually, yeah. And I've been doing this. I've been on the road for like 10 years now, past 10 years, and even now I go to places and I meet someone new and find something new that I wouldn't have seen otherwise. You know, there's so much to see.
There's so much to see.
You got to spend a lot of a good amount of time touring with the the late great legend Gift of Gab from Black Alicious.
Yes.
Do you have any memories of touring with him, or that you cherish more than others?
Yeah, I mean, I loved it all. It's hard to pick, but he used to talk with us a lot and give us like a lot of like, he was kind of like helping us out, giving us a lot of like tips and like telling us about the scene and about all the things. And it was really cool, like just dropping jewels on us, you know. Mm-hmm. It was really cool to get that from him. And he used to call me when we weren't on the road just to check in with me, make sure I was good. He was just a really good dude, you know. Yep. Definitely miss him. We lost a good one.
Yeah.
A good person and a fucking legendary MC.
Legendary MC.
I mean,
I feel like that was some like Black Alicious records were some of the first like records when like I would listen to as like a teenager and just be like,
yeah,
damn, this is that shit, like there's really never has been and never will be anyone quite like Gab, it was just such a like you just know from the first word.
Artificial
like,
amateurs, aren't it all amazing?
Yo, that song, like, on heavy repeat back in the day.
Yeah. Like, the first time I heard Blazing Arrow, that shit blew my mind.
Yeah,
Blazing Arrow.
Like, and don't get me wrong, all the other songs were great, but like Blazing Arrow, when I heard that record, I was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then even the last track with Saul Williams, and we were talking about how songs can go in and out different parts and stuff like that. The last song's like 9 minutes long. 3 different parts or something like that. It's fucking fantastic.
I got to DJ for him as well, and it was really cool to see the show from that perspective. And it was also really cool to see how happy he got after shows and stuff. Like he really loved that shit. Like his health was bad and he was going through some shit, but he just couldn't stop touring and connecting with people and doing what he loved,
Yep. Absolutely. Have like fond memories of playing shows with him. Just like another one of those people you just know, like just like from the moment he starts rapping that he's like incredible. I feel like from the moment you start talking to him that dude is just a through and through good person. Like so respectful, so kind. Like like when you're on the road, you're opening for people or whatever, or maybe you're like crossing paths with other artists. Like artists are not always kind to each other, and especially like we were talking about earlier, like there can be a lot of ego involved. And so it's like, I've definitely had my fair share of like don't meet your heroes sort of moments. But with him, it's like he's been one of my idols in the hip hop world for as long as I've been listening to hip hop. And like, he lives up to every single hope that you want from someone like that. And then more, it's just like, what a blessing, rest in peace.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Well, getting back to the album, you just released this. Is this your first release on Wax?
It is my first time on Wax, and it feels so good.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very excited about it. The little test pressings came, and I was in Cairo. I had them shipped to the U.S., so I couldn't listen to them directly, but I got sent a video of it playing, and I just got so excited. I was like, oh, that sound different, that hit, like that's
it's real.
I was so excited. So yeah, I'm very excited about this.
Fuck yeah, man. I gotta say that artistic dream two of my artistic dreams, one day it would be cool to have a song on wax. Other one would be to like DJ or like be behind the scenes where you're not the focal point, but like you get to be on stage where like a packed venue, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Like I always thought I would enjoy that. I don't know if I want to be the focal point of it. Yeah,
it's really fun to not be the focal point of it and just be back there just DJing tracks and having fun. And
that's why I became a bass player. Nobody expects anything from the bass player. They don't need you to dance. They don't need you to take attention, but you still get to be on stage. It's an important, you know what I mean?
My bass player would disagree with you. He always says the vocals just get in the way and he just starts the show.
I love that. That's funny.
Or unless you're the Interpol bassist, and when I saw Interpol live, it was Sasquatch, I think 2008. It was Interpol, then the Beastie Boys. But Interpol played, and the bassist, he had like the fucking like 1800s mustache, and he was like upstaging everyone. And he had a fucking like tailcoat. And he was just fiercely playing the bass.
Of the show.
Just like
I used to love playing bass in reggae bands specifically. Like I used to play a lot of, not so much anymore, but like I used to play a lot of reggae, a lot of like Brazilian music, Haitian music, stuff like that as a bass player. And like I just used to love playing reggae because it's like as the bass player, you're super important, and like you're laying down like so much of the foundation of the groove, but you can also sort of stand back next to the drummer like this, and like you don't even really have to look at anybody. You can just be like real stoned and like in your own little fucking world, just like
as long as you hit the note.
Yeah, as long as you're hitting the note, it's like you get to be important but not have the spotlight on you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I hear that. Well, even though you're promoting your newest album, you have, at least recently, moved a little bit away from the album into a stream of regular singles.
I have.
Are they weekly or are they monthly?
Monthly.
Monthly.
Yeah.
So every month you're dropping a new single on your Bandcamp and streaming, etc.
Yeah, we're 6 deep right now.
6 deep right now. Okay. And that was the reason that I was thinking that not all the songs were off of the album, because initially I had Butter as the first song I wanted to talk about. But then I skipped that and we talked about the other songs. And so you have, the first track, Butter, was that you perform on the external performance that people will be able to see in the extra credits. Mm-hmm. The first track was one of the singles, Butter, and then the second to last track, You, was also one of the singles, if I recall correctly as well. And so tell us a little bit about this kind of new thing that you're doing where you're releasing a song every month.
So it's the Nevermind series of singles. It started with a song called Nevermind that was produced by Crevens out of Bellingham, Washington. I had made a few songs. I had been through some pretty intense shit, and I had made a few songs, and I kind of wanted to, like, I didn't have an album. I just had some songs, and I didn't want to hold on to them. It was kind of like a way for me to get it out and get closure and put the past behind me. Mm-hmm. So I decided to start releasing singles until they were all out. And then after that, I was like, why not keep it going? Because it's been good. I've been getting a good reception on them, and I've been having a good time just focusing on one song rather than a whole album. And I'm by no means done making albums. I love the art of making albums. It's one of my favorite things to do. So I'm going to get back to albums, but I'm going to release a few more singles first. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and the fact is that you could keep doing these singles and then eventually release it as an album. You know what I mean? And do the singles in a compressed form. Yeah. I mean, I did a project once upon a time, Habitual Thinker, and I just did a couple EPs where it was like 2 songs with 4 different producers, and then I put that onto a project, but it was just all on SoundCloud once upon a time. But I like the idea of putting it, like giving someone something constant to listen to. I mean, obviously this is a podcast. Podcasts, like one of the foundational things that you have to do in a podcast is have a regular release stream. Yeah. And that will keep your fans, your audience and stuff coming back, knowing what day to do it. So, I mean, if you can do that as a musician, like, why wouldn't you want to tap into some of that same ideology? So I personally think it's a great idea. And then eventually down the road, you can package it as a project or something like that. And you can still also make an album on the side if you want.
I feel like people suggest that's like how you're supposed to do like music marketing, releasing now, is like these that days. Constant stream of content has to be uninterrupted. And so like I've had so many people like tell me or hear them talk about like, no, you just release 5 singles and then release those 5 singles as an EP.
Yeah.
Release 5 more, EP. Combine the 2 EPs, album.
Yeah, I've heard that before too, but I don't like people telling me what to do with my shit.
Fair. That's
like,
fair.
Look, I'm quality over quantity. When it comes, it comes. If it comes, I'll write it down. I'll record it. If it doesn't come, I'm not going to try to force it, you know?
Yeah.
So would you say that as like an extension of that, do you feel that like across the board, you don't allow sort of the like nature of like how music is put out these days and the need for content to affect your artistry? Or do you ever find yourself like thinking about that sort of things, or like, you know, I'm going to make something because I need to satisfy X, Y, or Z from the nature of the music industry?
I think sometimes I think about those things for sure, just especially as a touring artist. You kind of have to think about those things, and I try very hard not to, though, and I think most of the time I don't. Like, I just make the music, I put it out, and then I hit the road.
Fair.
Bring it to you directly.
Yeah.
Here's some tunes. And speaking of tunes, here's some vinyl. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming in, sir.
Thanks for having me. It's good to see you, Hashy.
It's good to see you, too.
It's good to meet you too, man.
Yes, sir. Where can the people find this vinyl to purchase?
Yeah.
followmostafa.com, and it's Mostafa. You're not gonna be able to see that shit.
Hey, hold on. Let me. Can
There it
right
is.
There.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I don't know how to reverse things. Mostafa. Yeah, I don't know. You'll be able to. We'll put a picture in the thing.
It'll be in the
That was great. That's
information.
good audio quality right there.
Yeah.
And video quality.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for coming in. It's been a real pleasure talking to you, and pleasure to watch you perform as well.
It's been a pleasure to be here. I had a wonderful time. Let's do it again.
Yay.
Yep. So tell the people where they can get you on the socials besides followmostafa.com.
At Follow Mostafa. it's on everything.
It's just everywhere, is that?
Yeah.
Okay, at Mostafa on all the socials. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, sir. Try to keep it easy for him, you know?
Yeah.
That's probably smart, as opposed to,
On this one, it's this, and on this one, it's
Yeah,
that.
no, that
Just
doesn't
one
work.
thing better.
we've tried that before. I tried that once upon a time.
I
I was like,
tried
I'm going
that
to do
too.
6 different groups.
That's too many.
It's too many.
That's way too many.
Do you, I'm just going to I got like 1 or 2 more questions here that you just made me think of, which is, she said like keeping it the same everywhere. Are you an artist who feels like your music, do you put your music everywhere that it can be, or are you sort of selective about the types of platforms that you release? Is there one place where you try to like get your audience to go?
I put the music everywhere it can be. The one place I do try to get my audience to go is Spotify, just because that looks better for bookers and promoters.
Sure.
For purposes like that.
That's a good point.
But most important to me is that my music is available to everybody that wants to access it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, the old school mentality, like, you can't afford this shit, go steal it, you know?
Right.
Yeah, just,
I
if you want it, you should have it.
I feel that it's like,
Shout out to
who
the
are we
crew.
who are we to tell people how they should listen to our music or where, you know? I mean, maybe some people can sort of get away with that at a certain point, but...
Or you could be like the Wu-Tang and put out one album and charge people $1 million for it. And I still think that's the wackest fucking shit
It's wild.
ever, but
That's just a pure,
shout out to
pure
RZA.
flex.
Still
Yeah.
love you, bud. It is a flex. All
All right, man. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me. Love.
So.
And thank you guys for watching.
Thank you for watching.